Hi everyone, welcome back to New Post today. Let's continue with our next series of preliminary questions for the month of June. So we all are aware that there was a change in the pattern with regard to the last 2 years in which the questions were being asked. Also now we cannot find much of the conventional questions that have been asked from many of the textbooks which have been repeating, and even the guesswork is getting tougher for the students. So if you want to get through an examination such as the light examination of UPSC, which gives you a lot after getting through the examination with regard to your prestige, power, and also the wide area of focus which you can do, there has to be a deeper preparation for this examination, and that is a very bitter truth. So it's better to keep track of as much as possible on an everyday basis, or at least if you cannot, then at least keep track of such some of the videos like I have been doing with regard to the preliminary questions, because we know as people who coach the students for or the aspirants for the UPSC and other competitive examination, in what way the examiner can ask you questions for the examination, and how exactly what can be the focus points looking at the previous patterns of the question paper. So I will be doing many of my videos not on the most important topic of the day, but I think I'll be doing a series of videos where I would like to complete off at least a year's of important topics with regard to your preliminary for the monthly current affairs, and would like to touch up on the static topics as well. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Also, I will be posting the link of my Telegram channel where I will post the PDF of these questions so you can solve them for better understanding and also remembrance, where you can download them as well. So let's get started with Project Akshatir. Now this has been in news because of the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speaking about him, and there has been a focus of Atmanirbharta because the government has brought out negative lists where you cannot import these these ammunitions or technologies which is being used in the defence arena, and they have to be produced locally. So with the focus on Atmanirbharta, the Ministry of Defence signed 3 contracts with BEL, that is the Bharat Electronics Limited, Ghaziabad, and the New Space India Limited, with a total contract of 54,000 crore to bolster the defence capabilities in the country. The first contract with BEL was to procure the automated air defence control and reporting system. Project Akshatir, as it is called, is for the Indian Army, and the second one with BEL relates to the acquisition of Sarang Electronic Support System, or ESM system, along with the associated engineering support package from the BEL Hyderabad. So what exactly is Project Akshatir? Now it will empower the air defense units of the Indian Army with indigenous state-of-the-art capability to effectively operate in an integrated manner, and will monitor the low-level airspace over the battle areas where the Indian Army is located to control the ground-based air defense weapons system. And this is called as Automated Air Defense Control and Reporting System. Sarang is an advanced electronic support measure system for the helicopters to be used in the Indian Navy, designed and developed indigenously by the Defence Electronic and Research Laboratory, Hyderabad, under the program Samudrika. So the program name is called as Samudrika. The scheme will generate employment of approximately 2 lakh man days over a period of 3 years. Now both these projects will encourage the participation of Indian electronics and associated industries, including MSMEs who sub-vendor to the BEL. Now there was a news along with this, there was a news, the Man Portable Air Defense System. Now why was this a news, Man Portable Air Defense System? It was a news because it is being given by the US to Ukraine, as Ukraine and Russia are in ongoing war which hasn't yet concluded. So US President Joe Biden approved the $200 million arms package for Ukraine, and this includes the Man Portable Air Defense System, or MANPADS as we call it, an acronym. What exactly is this MANPADS, or the Man Portable Air Defense System? It is a short-range, lightweight, portable surface-to-air missile. They can be fired by individual or small group to destroy the aircraft or the helicopters. They can shield troops from aerial attacks and are most effective in targeting low-flying aircrafts. So this was a help given by the US to Ukraine in defense with Russia. And recently we know that the Kukis and the Nagas were in a conflict because of the Nagas demanding a scheduled tribe status, which the Kukis says they do. Sorry, the Kukis and the Meiteis, I'm sorry, not the Nagas. So the Meiteis wanted a scheduled tribe status to be given to them, while the Kukis say that they are opposing this. And so the peace committee in Manipur has been formed with the chairmanship of Anusuya Uke. And the next is INS Vikrant and Vikramaditya. INS Vikrant is indigenous, while INS Vikramaditya, the aircraft carrier, was procured from Russia. Let's see what are the names. Now these two aircrafts were deployed into the Indian Ocean for maneuvering and also for patrolling in the Indian Ocean to widen their exercise or the capability of the Indian Navy. Now INS Vikrant is the country's first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier. So it is an aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, and it was built at Cochin shipyard. INS Vikramaditya, on the other hand, is an aircraft presently in service of the Indian Navy, which was brought from the Russian Navy. Now INS Vikramaditya is a modified Kiev, K-I-E-V, class aircraft carrier with the flagship Indian Navy, and originally it was commissioned by the Russian Navy in 1987 under the name Baku, B-A-K-U, and later named as Admiral Gorshov before being decommissioned in 1996, and now it is called as INS Vikramaditya. The next point is that there was a demand for reservation for Muslims to be increased in the country, and the Home Minister said that reservation cannot be given on the basis of religion. So reservation is for certain backward classes like the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes, and also economically backward classes, but there is no reservation based on religion in the Constitution of India. Article 15 and 16 are the articles which deal with reservation, and it is called as positive discrimination. So the next one is about Zaporizhia, which is a nuclear reactor in Ukraine. Now this was a news because during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, this nuclear power plant became a center of the ongoing nuclear safety crisis in Ukraine, and it is described by Ukraine as an act of nuclear terrorism where Russia came and overtook this nuclear power plant. Now the plant is said to be the largest in Europe and has seen a destruction of infrastructure via shelling and damage to its power lines, amounting to what Ukrainian authorities have called the largest situation of its kind in history. And there was also fear of a potential disaster like that of Chernobyl or also the Hiroshima Nagasaki, which happened during the World War. And this also called for a potential fear that there would be a nuclear disaster during the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine in Europe, which would cause more disaster and more humanitarian crisis in the region. So India, the next most important issue is India and US now signed a very new initiative. So the last time in the last video we had seen ISET, and this time it is Indus X. So INDUS X. What is it called? It is India USA Defense Acceleration Ecosystem. It is a new initiative to advance cutting edge technology cooperation between India and US. And the next issue is the Prime Minister launched something called as the National Program on Civil Service Capacity Building for the civil servants in the country, and this was during the inauguration of the National Training Conclave. Last time the Prime Minister had started something called as Karma Yogi for the civil servants in India, and you need to know about this as well. The another issue is about fruit flies. So how can fruit flies be the friends of the researchers? And it is called as Drosophila melanogaster. So Drosophila melanogaster has been in use because it's just not a fruit fly which roams around in your houses, especially during the winter season or the summer season, but it is an organism which has helped a lot of research, especially with the medical community. Now it is classified as Diptera, which means insect with two wings, and they are helpful even as pollinators as well. Now these fruit flies are used in research because they can understand various issues related to human beings like personality loss in the Alzheimer's diseases, neural disorders, cancer, etc. And fruit flies and mosquitoes belonging to the Diptera, the group of insects that have only two wings. Diptera are also strong pollinators and help help in decomposition of organisms, and therefore they are friends of nature as well. So please find out which are the other organisms which are used for testing of many of the issues with regard to human health and diseases as well. So the other most important issue is SIPRI. Now, why was this name or organization in news? So at the height of the Russia-Ukraine war, this organization called as the Stockholm International Peace and Research Institute came out with the annual report. So it is an organization which is based in Stockholm, established in 1966. What does it do? It is ranked among the most respectable think tanks worldwide, and it publishes reports on armament, disarmament, conflict, peace and security, as well as development. Now, recently it gave a report of the stockpile count, that is the number of arms and ammunitions and also nuclear warheads with the countries around the world. And it says that there has been an increase in the nuclear warheads with Russia, China and the United States. It also named the increase with regard to nuclear warheads among the 9 nuclear states, so which are US, Russia, UK, France, China, India, Pakistan, North Korea and Israel. So SIPRI, or the Stockholm International Peace and Research Center, is an international institute dedicated to the research into conflict, armaments, arm control and disarmament. Poshan app. So recently the Poshan app was in news. Now the Poshan app is also called as Poshan Tracker. So what does this do? Poshan Abhiyan was launched in 2018, and this app provides information about the Anganwadi centers, which are basically childcare centers under the government, service deliveries of the Anganwadi workers, complete beneficiary management for pregnant women. So the beneficiaries of the Anganwadi centers are pregnant women, lactating mothers and also children under the age of group of 6. The Anganwadi workers are provided smartphones, and the beneficiaries of Poshan Abhiyan, as I told you, are these. So the Poshan app or the Poshan Tracker has all the information regarding every beneficiary and what are the services are being offered with regard by the Anganwadi centers, location of each Anganwadi center, and also any other report as well which is released by the Government of India. US, another most important issue is we have specialized agencies with the UN, and the UNESCO is one such agency. Recently, we had Gwalior and Kozhikode being included in the City of Culture list of UNESCO. Gwalior especially for the music and Kozhikode for literature. Now US left UNESCO because it had included Palestine as its member, and recently UNESCO came back under to United States came back to UNESCO. It left UNESCO because it included Palestinian as its member. So UNESCO is the United Nations Education, Scientific, Cultural Organization. It has 194 member states and 12 associate members. It is headquartered in Paris, France, and it has 253 regional office. So it was founded in 1945 as a successor of the League of Nations International Committee on Intellectual Cooperation. The UNESCO's founding mission, which was shaped in the aftermath of the World War II, is to advance peace, sustainable development, human rights, to facilitate collaboration and dialogue among the nation. It pursues this object through 5 major program areas, that is education, natural sciences, social, human sciences, culture, communication and information. And next is 75th anniversary of the United Nations Peacekeeper Day was observed. So these peacekeepers wear a blue color uniform, and the International Day of UN Peacekeepers is celebrated on 29th of May, which is an opportunity to recognize the service sacrifice of more than 1 million personnel who have served under the blue flag since 1948. And with regard to a memorial for the peacekeepers, it was on India's resolution that the United Nations agreed to establish a memorial for them as well. So 75th year of anniversary is being celebrated, and there was a process that was in use, which is the next important news, that is the Hiroshima AI process. So what is HAP or Hiroshima AI process? Now it is a process that was initiated by the G7 countries who met for a summit in Japan in Hiroshima, and they issued a communique at the end of the summit with regard to regulation of AI. With the help of HAP or the Hiroshima AI process, the G7 countries would move towards a divergent regulation based on shared norms for AI and principles and guiding values to regulate AI. The Group of 7 is an intergovernmental political economic forum consisting of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK and United States, and additionally EU is a non-enumerated member. Previously, it was called as G8, but because of the removal of Russia, it became G7. Now, Russia was removed in 2014 because of its invasion of Crimea. And the EU the EU Parliament, now on the same lines of HAP or the Hiroshima AI process, the EU Parliament now is presenting a AI Act with the aim of averting the safety risk with regard to AI application or artificial intelligence application and avoiding discriminatory effects, especially without slowing down the innovative power of this new technology in Europe. And the next most important is now government is attempting to design a new survey to track the Human Development Index, especially among the particularly vulnerable tribal group. Now, the center has announced recently a particularly vulnerable tribal group mission in the budget. The program envisages that all the 22,544 villages of the PVTGs will be provided basic services like electricity, communication, water, housing, healthcare and education as well. And the third last issue is about open market sales scheme. So the open market sales scheme was in news with regard to rice and wheat recently, where the Food Corporation of India sells surplus wheat and rice under the open market sales scheme at predetermined prices in open market from time to time to ensure that there is no shortage of the products that it releases. Now, especially the wheat during the lean season, where they moderate the prices of the wheat when there is a shortage. Now, under the scheme, the center releases the grains to the state also for food security or the PDS as well. So recently, open market sales scheme of wheat and was taken up because there was a lot of wheat shortage due to unseasonal rain and also untimely rainfall which damaged the crop, and also hotter temperatures which led to the decrease in the wheat output. And the second most important issue, last issue, is transgenic seed. A new cotton transgenic seed has been tested by GEAC, and it has asked 4 states to grow these seeds. So the centers as a regulatory body called as Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, it is set to test a new kind of transgenic cotton seed which contains a gene called as CRY2AI or CRY2AI, which makes the cotton resistant to a worm called as a pink ball worm. Now, the cotton seed has been developed by Hyderabad-based Bioseed Research India, and the seed has passed preliminary confined trials and was recommended by the GEAC to be tested in the farmer fields of 4 states. Now, those 4 states are Haryana, Gujarat, Telangana and Maharashtra. However, only Haryana has given the approval, and the other states did not provide the reasons for denying approval for testing the seed or the transgenic cotton. Now, let me tell you that cotton is the only transgenic crop that is commercially cultivated in India. The second crop which is at a second stage of approval or being commercially cultivated is the mustard crop, which is called as DMH11. It is a genetically modified mustard, but however only the environmental release of the DMH11 has happened, and there is no still commercial cultivation of DMH in the country. So the only commercially cultivated crop in India is cotton. Now, the other most important issue with regard to open market sales scheme itself is that recently the government put a ceiling on the wheat stock that can be held by the private retailers and the wholesalers. Now, why did this happen? I told you that the wheat output took a toll because of unseasonal rains, hotter temperature and also hailstorms, and therefore the union government imposed limits on the stock of the wheat that can be held by the wholesalers, retailers and the big chain retailers and the processors as well. The motive is to stabilize the price of the essential commodity by steadying supply. The traders and the wholesalers can hold only 3,000 metric ton, while the retailers can hold up to 10 metric ton each at the outlet, and the latter can hold up to 3,000 metric ton at the depots combined. The Agriculture Ministry estimates the production of wheat to be 1127 lakh metric ton for the agriculture year 2022 and 23. And before ending, the last one is Sweden. Sweden now was trying for a NATO membership, but because of the criticism or certain issues with regard to Turkey did not give the approval for Sweden's membership in NATO. However, Finland became the 31st member of NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is an intergovernmental military and a security alliance between the 31 member nations, that is 29 European and 2 North American. It was established in the aftermath of the World War II. The organization implements the the North Atlantic Treaty signed in Washington DC in 1949, and it is a collective security system. Its independent member states agree to defend each other against the attacks by third parties. And during the Cold War, the NATO was used to try to keep a check on the threats posed by Soviet Union, which did not disintegrate, and which disintegrated in 1991. So NATO was used to as a check against the aggression of Soviet Union. So this is about some of the important preliminary issues which you need to track for the month of June, and I shall see you again in another fresh post with another set of important preliminary questions for the month of June until I complete them. And until then, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and do not forget to comment as well, and I shall see you in the next post. Until then, very happy learning.